Go ahead.
Good afternoon, honorable judges. My name is Eliana Stemme from the Branch Area Career Center FFA chapter. The title of my speech is, Where is the Sizzle? Honorable timekeeper, I am ready to begin. As soon as I arrive home from school, the moment I step through the door, I smell the incredibly well-seasoned and sizzling burgers frying in the skillet. A big, juicy burger cooked in a cast iron skillet is one of my favorite meals. If my mom were to cook burgers for dinner one night, where could that meat have come from? Option 1. We raised a steer from calf to maturity on a mixture of pasture and grain. Option 2. We bought the burger from a trusted supermarket, which likely came from a steer raised on grain in a feedlot. Option 3. The burger was raised in, what? Created in a bioreactor tank in a science lab? No way. I am here today to inform you about option 3, the big juicy burger being grown in a lab. To begin, I will give you an overview of the process to create lab-grown meat. Next, I will discuss the pros, and finally the cons concerning lab-grown meat. To begin, the process of creating lab-grown meat is not as difficult as it may sound. According to a report written in the Wall Street Journal, scientists only need a single muscle cell from an animal to create the meat product. The cell is then placed in a bioreactor tank. It is fed certain nutrients and oxygen in order to allow the muscle cell to multiply. As the cell multiplies, the surface area and thickness of the raw meat will grow. Finally, over the course of 3 to 5 weeks, the cells are fully developed. They are ready to be supplied to a consumer and eaten. That's the simplified process to create lab-grown meat. Second, there are several pros concerning the production of lab-grown meat. One pro is that lab-grown meat is an additional source of protein for the world. To help you visualize this, consider solar and wind energy. Most people call these alternative sources of energy. It is a good thing for the world to have a variety of energy sources. Similarly, it will be a good thing for the world to have a variety of meat sources. This alternative meat will help feed the growing population and the percent of the population that does not have a reliable source of protein. This lab-grown meat is also needed because there is only a limited amount of land. This land must be divided between growing all the crops needed to feed all the livestock and poultry needed for this growing population. Another positive aspect of this lab-grown meat is that scientists will be able to grow non-local foods locally. Take, for example, the Midwestern states that must import crab meat from Maryland. With lab-grown meat, the Midwestern states would not have to import seafood. Instead, they could simply produce it in a local lab. This brings me to my third point. Along with pros comes cons. One con to lab-grown meat is expense. According to NBC News, the first lab-grown burger cost $280,400 to produce in 2013. However, the Dutch company Moza Meats expects the price to come down to about $10 in 2021. If you were to compare a lab-grown burger to a Big Mac costing about $5.30, the lab-grown burger costs about $4.70 more. A second con is that the production of lab-grown meat could actually hurt the environment more than it saves it. According to scientists, the carbon dioxide from the energy used to make lab-grown meat is likely to be more damaging to the environment long-term than methane gas produced by cows. Another con is taste and texture. Many companies, such as the startup Eat Just, who is famous for their egg made of plants, have not yet figured out how to grow fat in a lab, so there's too much leanness to the meat, which causes a noticeable difference in taste and texture. A final con is that the production and consumption of lab-grown meat could change animal agriculture as we know it. Meat processing businesses may be forced to shut down, leaving many people without a job. The National Cattlemen's Beef Association is also concerned about the false labeling of this lab-grown meat they like to call fake meat. The Midwestern state of Missouri passed a law in August of 2018 making it illegal to call something meat if it was not derived from livestock or poultry. This law also requires the label to indicate if the meat was produced in a lab. In conclusion, we've discussed the process, the pros, and the cons concerning lab-grown meat. My mom has yet to make a lab-grown burger, but according to science, I may get to taste one in the near future. The only question I have is, when my mom fries the burgers up in her cast iron skillet, will they have the same sizzle? Honorable Timekeeper, this concludes my presentation. Honorable Judges, I will now entertain any questions you may have.